All right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about if we have a triangle graphed on a coordinate plane and we want to find the circumcenter of that triangle. So again, some sort of point. So remember, the circumcenter is buddies with the perpendicular bisector. So those two go together. So perpendicular bisector, things to remember about that. It happens at a midpoint and it's perpendicular. So those gives us two tools in order to find where our circumcenter is. And we don't need all three perpendicular bisectors. We only need two because those are all going to meet at the same place. So it's easiest to do this if you have a side of your triangle that's on a horizontal or vertical line, because finding something perpendicular to that's very quick and easy. For example, here on my first graph, I have one side along the x-axis here, and that's a horizontal line. Perpendicular to a horizontal line would be a vertical line. And I have this other side of my triangle, LO, which is going along the y-axis, which is currently vertical. But if I wanted it to be perpendicular, I know that quickly switches to horizontal. So if you have the ability to have your triangle horizontal or vertical on two of the sides, it makes things go much smoother. It's not always going to happen, but you know how to find perpendicular slope. You know how to find a midpoint based off a midpoint formula. So I believe you have the power to do this. So looking at these two, first thing I'm going to do is find my midpoint. I want to find out what point I'm starting from. So from 0, 0 to negative 8, 0. So midpoint formula tells me negative 8 plus 0 divided by 2 and 0, 0 divided by 2. My midpoint's going to occur at negative 4, 0. I'm just going to ballpark this since I don't have an actual grid on here. And I'm going to attempt to draw a perpendicular line. And it can stop at the edge. It doesn't have to, but I know this line is occurring here at x equals negative 4. That's the equation for that line. And then I'm going to look at LO. I'm going to find my midpoint, 0 plus 0 over 2, and 5 plus 0 over 2. Gives me a midpoint at 0, 2.5. So I'm going to approximate where 2.5 is, approximately where our midpoint is, and do a perpendicular line, which means I'm going to make a horizontal line now. And look, they intersect. And so now I need to figure out where they're going to intersect. So I need the actual coordinates in which they run into each other. So that's going to mean I need an x value and a y value, guys. If I look at my two equations, my x value is always going to be negative 4. And if I look at my second equation, my y value is always going to be 2.5. So this is occurring at negative 4, 2.5. Let's take a look at another, because we did that quickly. We have, let's see what color is going to show up really well in here. That'll be fine. We have this triangle here. We have point 0, 0, we have 0, 6, and we have 4, 0. So again, we are on a really nice horizontal and vertical here, which again makes this quite simple. For our midpoints, you can either just count over or use midpoint formula. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to get over to D, which means I'm only going halfway. So I'm going to go to 2 right here. And it's going to be perpendicular to my horizontal line. So I'm going to make a vertical. And you can keep going. Circumcenters don't always end up inside of a triangle. They can end up outside the triangle. That's okay too. And then we're going to look at our other side. So I have a total of 6 steps down from 0, 6 to 0, 0. So I'm only going to go halfway, which is going to be 3. So right here, and this line is vertical. So to be perpendicular, I need to make a horizontal. And look where they cross each other. So this equation is y equals 3. This equation down here is x equals 2. So my circumcenter is happening at 2, 3.